Before I open the hearing for the Barnstable Conservation Commission, I would like to ask Angela to do the roll call for the quorum purpose.
Okay, John Abadili is absent. Foster?
Present.
Hearn?
Present.
Lee?
Present.
Sampu?
Present.
And Tangney present. We've got 5 in a quorum. Administrator Darcy Carley?
Present.
Staff member Kim Kavanaugh?
Present.
And Agent Ed Hoops.
Present.
Thank you, guys.
We have a quorum. Acting under the provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Chapter 237 of the Code of Town of Barnstable, the Barnstable Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, July the 16th, 2024, at 3 p.m. for the applications of Town of Barnstable, DBW, Nancy Simchis, William Cole, Susan P. Steckles, trustee, and Albert A. Holzman, the third trustee. The hearing is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. The plans and application are on file and may be reviewed by scheduling appointments by sending email requests to Darcy Curley at 230 South Street, Hyannis. This meeting is being recorded and broadcast on the Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 20, please let the chair know if anyone is recording this meeting. Hearing none. This afternoon's hearing agenda is posted on the town's website. On the agenda, next, each application is demand only to the Town of Barnstable for the cost of advertisement. Please send your checks to the Conservation Division at 230 South Street before the hearing. Remote participation. The Conservation Commission public hearing will be held by remote participation as a result of an act extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency signed by the government on March 29, 2023, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law. Remote public access to this hearing shall be provided in the following manner. 1, the hearing will be televised via Xfinity Channel 8 or High Definition Channel 1072. It may also be accessed via Town of Barnstable's Government Access Channel. 2, the real-time public comment can be addressed to the Conservation Commission utilizing the Zoom link 813-1862-2097 or use the toll-free phone number 888-475-4499 and so on the agenda. 3rd, the public can also email their comments to darcy.curley@town.barnstable.ma.us at least 8 hours prior to the hearing. This afternoon, we have 2 extension requests. The first one is Yuri and Urania Maxcabadis, SE3-5908, 24 Flume Avenue, Marston's Mill. Arlene, this is the first request.
Yes. For those of you who have been out there, and I know Ed has been out, this is a house where the superstructure was taken down and the foundation was reused. So the house that you see now when you're out there is an entirely new superstructure with a couple of small additions. There was extensive mitigation planting on this site, and most of it, except for a small band on the landward side of the beach retaining wall, is in now. We believe that the work that's on the site is in compliance. We will be talking with Darcy, I hope later this week, about the potential to relocate some of the pondward-most mitigation plantings because the pond water is up so high this year, and it doesn't seem to be going down at all. We don't want to lose several of those big trees that have been planted. Other than that, I'd be happy to take questions.
Any question from the commissioner?
Yeah, I do have a question. Thank you. When this project went in, it sort of went in, it was permitted, and I know that the locals were livid at the extent of the removal of the vegetation. And there was some furor over that. I know I made a site visit with Ed. And in the submission for the extension, I want to say the third and fourth photographs near the end of the submission shows what looks like very little mitigation planting, fairly close to the water. And where there was supposed to be almost, a small, if you will, lawn in the front, and then like big triangles of natural vegetation. It was supposed to be, it's going to be grown up. Well, it doesn't look like that after 3 years. And I'm troubled that we're giving another potential 3 years for the mitigation planting to come in. Now, I've thought about this project, and it's like, well, you can't very well deny them an extension because, what are you going to do? Not plant? And so it's like we have to provide an extension. Yet, how do we get the vegetation return to the right parent, to the 0 to 50 buffer, to the 50 to 100 foot buffer? And do we wait another 3 years? I mean, it's been a long time coming for the plantings. That's a question I have. Is that a question to Arlene? I guess I put it to you. When are you going to get the vegetation planted? Thank you.
Most of the mitigation plantings that are in now went in late summer and fall. So they haven't been in for 3 years, Bill, because there was so much back and forth in the neighborhood about this site and some of the other work on the site, particularly the pier, that the work got pushed back in time. And I think it's probably difficult to go out on the side and figure out where the property line is, particularly as you face the water on the left-hand side. So the mitigation plantings over there are essentially complete. They are where they were supposed to be. Some of the beachfront is going to get planted to facultative grasses, but we're not going to do that until the very end of the project because people are tramping back and forth over the sand, so the stuff wouldn't grow. And there will be fencing that will act as the demarcation for that. So what I ask you to do is to give us another season here so that the plantings in the lawn and the upper area behind that the stone retaining wall will be planted up, and I think you'll be happy. We're happy to provide you with periodic reports on what's going on, if that will make things easier for you to follow. And, we could do that every 4 months or 6 months, depending on what you want. We hope that the project will be complete by this time next year. So even though we've asked for a 3-year term, because that's what the commission has always wanted in the past, it's easier for you to keep track in the office that way. We don't expect to need the full 3 years.
Thank you, Arlene. The other things that I think the 6 month will make sense if this project is going for another year, and then at the end of it there will be a request for COC. So that's another chance to for Ed to go on site and take a look. Is it complying with the previous approved plant for the planting? So, any other question from the commissioner?
I have a question for Tom, I guess, and or Darcy. I mean, they're asking for a 3-year, right? A 3-year extension. And I'm hearing that, the mitigation will be in a year. And that sounds good. Is there a way of, through this extension process, I don't know, but to actually hold their feet to the fire so that the mitigation plantings are done in a year? Not, rather than waiting 3? I mean, can we make it a shorter extension period or what? How do we do that?
Usually, I mean, Darcy, correct me if I'm wrong. Usually, we give a 3 years extensions, even though applicant may come in asking for 1 year. But typically, we give it 3 years. When they finish the project, they can finish the project earlier and request the COC. So,
Yep, correct. We
that's our past
usually
practice.
we usually do the 3 year. It's difficult to condition an extension permit, but if the commission feels strongly that they want to make sure that this gets done, then you can issue a 1 year, and then they can come back. And I did have a follow-up question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's for Arlene. I know Ed has been out there, and I was looking at the photographs. We believe we both have the same question. When was there beach nourishment approved under this application? Because it seems like there's a lot of extra sand there, and I know we've seen so many different revisions. I lost track of what was going on with this, but it seems like sand has been added.
I've talked with Yuri about that. He called me because Ed had expressed that concern when he did the site visit. The answer is he hasn't added any sand. He did do a raking recently, and he has permission under the order of condition to do that. The site, as you know, was essentially abandoned for years, and the neighborhood used it as a party location. There was a huge amount of broken glass in the sand. The glass tends to come up to the surface over time, and so he has permission to rake that out periodically. It looks beautiful, clean, and smooth, and it was done shortly before Ed's site visit.
Okay. Yeah, I was just, one of the photos looks like it just seems like it's deep in one area. It's the first photograph, actually. So, all right. Ed and I'll talk about this later.
Thanks, Darcy. Any other question from the commissioner? None? Bill, do you want to do 1 year or 3 years?
Well, can you do 2 years? Is that an option? I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you can do 2 years, that seems.
Yes, you
3
can do
years
2
is like,
years.
I think the problem is, or the issue, or whatever you want to call it, is that the computer system in terms of flagging and so forth is set up for 3 years. Is that correct, Darcy?
We were sending out letters to advise engineers and consultants to issue or request COCs, but we couldn't even keep up with that. So we're not sending out letters to the applicants and the consultants at this time. So it's fine if we do the 2 years.
Okay.
I would recommend it 2 years.
Yep.
I mean, that seems fair to me.
Could I have a motion to extend this, to approve this extension request for 2 years?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Roll call. Angela?
Where did Angela go?
Sorry, I got a glitch in my sound. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
Can anybody hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can.
Yes.
You can now.
Roll call.
Been a full moon all day in my office, too.
Well, Angela is fixing the noise. Foster. I'll do the roll call. Foster.
Okay. Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Zampu.
Aye.
And Tangney, aye. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Lee,
My
aye.
band went out. Yep.
So it's approved.
Yep.
5-0.
I
2
got it. I'll
years.
leave my camera off for now.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. The second extension request is Joseph R. Jenkins, trustee SG3-5775, 195 Superior River Road, Austinville. This is the first request. I think it's John.
That's correct. John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. This was a beach nourishment project on Superior River. It had an order in early 2000s, so this was a second round through, and there was ongoing conditions about, being able to do maintenance within the order or extensions as long as certain provisions are followed and reports prepared of what the condition is and what the volume is. And so we've only done it once. We haven't done any follow-up reports yet, but we want to keep it open to give the option and keep an eye on that beach.
Thank you, John. Any question from the commissioner? None. Could I have a motion to approve the extension request for 3 years?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. That's 5. We're unanimous.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
We have one revised plan, Mark Landry and Nancy Allen, 494 Elliott Road, Centerville, SE3-5927. Arlene?
Good afternoon, Arlene Wilson, A.M. Wilson Associates for the Landrys. We're here to beg forgiveness and ask for confirmation that the change in materials for the Landrys retainage is all right. There were this lot had vertical wood railroad tie retaining walls around the house. They were in terrible shape. We had asked for permission to replace them in place and in kind. The landscape contractor looked at that and said, boy, that's going to be a mess. Every time you need to redo it, you're going to need to dig everything up. They're pretty close to the house, so tiebacks are a problem. Why don't we just put stone in instead? Unfortunately, he didn't ask me first. He just talked with the landowners. The walls are beautiful. They are in the same place that the original retainage was. They're a little wider footprint on the ground, but Mr. Landry also had permission to build about 500 square feet of fire pit and patio, which he is deleting from the project. So all in all, the mitigation that was required originally will more than cover the little bit of extra width in the retainage. The stonework is probably not a bad thing in terms of wildlife habitat. This is a good location for amphibians and reptiles, and the stone will give them some additional habitat space. In addition to that, the original brick path that ran from the driveway to the front door was replaced with a poured concrete path instead. The brickwork didn't have essentially any space for joints, so you're not losing anything in terms of infiltration capacity.
Thank you, Arlene. Any question for Arlene? Darcy?
No, I do not have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve the revised plans as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you,
Thank
Arlene.
you.
We have one enforcement order, Albert R. Gamper Jr. and Julia Paganova, 30 Bel Air Lane, Contour Maps 053, parcel 002, alteration of a wetland resource area, salt marsh, by mooring a vessel on and allowing that vessel on sits upon the salt marsh at
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is really pretty straightforward. This is out 30 Bel Air Lane in Catuit. This was brought to my attention by the natural resource officers. Amy Croto had provided a picture of the violation. You can see that this just in the ARC Reader ArcGIS component on here on the left. Just pointing out that this whole area is a no dock zone, so it further complicates some of the issues here. And you can see the aerial photo. The red dot is a very rough approximation of where the boat is stored. Straightforward. It's boat on a marsh. It's sort of in an out haul type situation, which also has issues because again it's in the no dock zone. So the enforcement order is straightforward. It's asked that the boat be removed from the salt marsh by close of business this Friday. And that's it.
That's it. Any questions for Ed, Commissioner? None?
If I might.
Yeah, go ahead. Who's it? Arlene?
Yes. So I've met with Mr. Gamper, and I was out at the site on Friday afternoon. It does not look as if the boat has done any real damage to the salt marsh. It's about a 9-foot long inflatable. Mr. Gampers tells me he has moved it off the marsh as of today. It's on an anchor just offshore. So it's not in violation of the no pier regulations at the moment. It does look from my site inspection as though we've got just a little spot not very far from where he had the boat on the marsh that is about 6 inches above the marsh elevation and is not growing marsh grass, where we likely will be back to put a little graded surface platform for him to to store the boat out of the water after this year. It'll take us through the fall and winter, I'm sure, to get the survey and do the permitting. But the zoning is such that not only can he not have a pier, he can't have an outhaul post with a boat in the water. So this is a guy who's got hundreds of feet of shorefront property, and he's stuck with navigation methodology right now. So we'll be trying to find a solution for him.
Thank you, Arlene. Is Gamble want to say anything, Albert?
I just wanted to say that no one could be more concerned about that salt marsh than me. I've put signs up with the natural resource people and tell people not to walk on it, but for some reason, people that clam and fish and walk their dogs don't read the signs. And so therefore you got a little path being developed in the salt marsh, which is terrible as far as, because that's an erosion of very good small salt marsh, and it's not good for my property. So I'm going to try to keep people off of it because I don't want the boat to mess up the salt marsh either. So my intention is to come up with something that doesn't hurt the marsh, but yet gives me somewhat access without some access to this vehicle I bought. And Arlene is going to be working with me with some kind of plan that will, I think, give us some. The boat would only be in that area July, August, September, 3 months of the year. The rest of the year, I take it completely out and put it up near the house. But I'm very conscious of the marsh because since I've been here 9 years and we've seen a lot of erosion Some of it comes from the fact that some people want to clam too close to the marsh and they take away the grass. It's terrible. But I've been constantly working with the natural resources and putting these signs up to keep people from walking from it. I'm going to continue to do that because it is disturbing to see that disappear. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that and then working with the natural resource. I don't think that we want to see people digging up the salt marsh, in that area. Even we do sell fishing, we still have to keep track of, protecting the salt marsh. At least I am.
Well, to tell you quite frankly, the shell fishing is the biggest. Some people just take their dogs down there and walk on my beach, which, I don't particularly mind it, but it is trespassing. But the clammers, by and large, a lot of the clammers just don't respect the salt marsh. They just walk across it and, drag things across it. And that you can see the trails that are being developed as a result of that. And it's disturbing. It's doing a lot more damage than my little inflatable's done so far.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions from the commissioner? Could I have a motion to approve the enforcement order as written?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster.
Aye.
Hearn.
Aye.
Lee.
Aye.
Sampu.
Aye.
And Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. We have 3 RDA. The first one is Town of Barnstable DPW Engineering Department's installation of a 100-foot long, 5-foot wide Moby mat roll-out ground access mat system to replace the 75 foot of damaged 5-foot wide raised wood block and a 5-foot wide ADA compliant wood transitions ramp between the Moby mat system and the existing boardwalk at Calmus Beach Park 670 Ocean Street, Hyannis, as shown on the census maps 324 parcel 041. Is Matt with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Matt.
Hello, good afternoon, members of the commission. My name is Matt Roble. I'm one of the senior project managers with Barnstable DPW. I've been brought in by the structures and grounds team to help them proceed with permitting with you guys for the replacement of their existing boardwalk at the Calmus Beach snack bar and parking lot area leading out to the beach. I'm happy to share my screen. I've got a copy of the plan pulled up.
Yep, please.
Okay. You guys able to see that okay?
Yep.
Okay, so this is a plan that was originally drafted existing conditions by our survey department. They had, during the February of this year, gone out and done an existing condition survey and wetland resource location over at the Calmus Beach Snack Bar. As you can see, the existing wooden boardwalk spans from the parking area to the snack bar concourse area and out to the beach area. Over the last month or so, our structures and grounds team and the rest of DPW have been in conversations with Darcy Carley from Conservation about having a emergency removal of damaged sections of the boardwalk completed for public safety. So approximately 70 feet or so of existing boardwalk had been pulled out, 70 to 75 feet, and removed from site by our structures and grounds team. This proposal referenced in the RDA application is to install 6.5 feet of ADA accessible wooden ramp access system to transition about the 6 inches or so from the top of the boardwalk down to where the Moby mat system would take over. The Moby mat, just for accessibility purposes, would be overlaid over the top of the ramp so that there wouldn't be multiple transitions between materials and kind of protect everybody who's going to be using this from trip hazards. The intent of the Moby mat system is to replace what we had lost with the existing boardwalk without having an extensive amount of disturbance within the wetland resource area, and also give us something that we can deploy quickly to serve the summer crowds that are calling in and complaining about the lack of boardwalk and accessibility out there. For transparency purposes, we are planning on submitting a separate NOI application for the replacement of the remainder of the boardwalk, which you guys will hear at a later date and time. Additionally, we had requested about 25 feet of additional additional Moby mat system, but while doing surveys for the NOI application, we realized that the existing boardwalk had been cut back further, so it's really going to end up being a one-to-one replacement of the existing system, just using a different technology. That's really all I have at this moment in time. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Matt. Matt, can you tell me what is the revision date on this plan?
Yes, so we had originally submitted the plans back on the 25th of June, and the revision date on the plans is for yesterday, July 15th. We have been requested to add on additional dimensioning, calling out what the lengths and also the widths of the structures that we're proposing.
Thank you. Any question from the commissioner?
Are there any issues with plover or tern, the nesting birds with this?
With this system, unless there are identified nesting plovers right now, this would be a rollout mat system and wouldn't require multiple days of installation. Essentially, the system comes in a rolled up coir of about 100 feet in length or so is the one that we're proposing. And there are stapled, really kind of like tent stakes, two-pronged U-shaped insertions into the ground. So there isn't much potential for disturbing any nesting plovers. We wouldn't overlay them over any nests or anything like that. The NOI application that we have will reference MISA review for the nesting plovers and timeframes on that construction, but that'll come at the second application.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you,
problem.
Matt. Matt, do you have to remove this Moby mat during the off season?
Yes, this would be a seasonal Moby mat from my conversations with Structures and Grounds. The replacement boardwalk would be permanent. I need to get clarification on the ramp structure though. I would imagine that the ramp structure, which is about 6.5 feet long and transitions about 6 inches in height, over that 6.5 feet would remain in place just for ADA accessibility.
Thank you. In the last hearing, we also approved the Moby mat as well at different locations. So this is not the first time that we approved the Moby mat. Darcy, any question from you?
No, it all sounds good. We support this. Also to answer Bill's question, Nina did sign off on this installation as far as any things with the birds. They weren't in that area. And I'd still would, just in case they ever want to go back to the Moby mat, I would recommend the commission approve this with a condition that this could be deployed seasonally in perpetuity. So they wouldn't have to file again in case they want to use the Moby mat instead of the permanent one that they're going to file for. Just makes it easier.
Yep.
That's exactly what I was going to be requesting. So I'm sorry if I wasn't more clear on that, but thank you, Darcy. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None. Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determinations and allowing this Moby mat to be installed perpetually on the seasonal basis?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Good luck, Matt.
Thank you very much. I appreciate all your time today and look forward to seeing you in the future.
Okay, thank you. The second idea is Nancy Simchis, planting of 3 native shrubs along the property line at 591 Seaview Avenue, Osterville, as shown on the Assessors Map 114, parcel 052-002. And this is Julie.
Yes. Hi, I'm Julie Estevez from Julie Garden Design, and this is Title Henry. He's also a designer. And we propose to remove a small section of vegetation, which is Rosa rugosa, and plant 3 shrubs on the property line.
That's it, right?
Yes.
Very straightforward. Question from the commissioner. None? Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determination?
So moved.
Oh, second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The last RDA is William Cole, maintain and prunes 2 20-foot wide, 20-foot vista corridor at 439 Elliott Road, Centerville, as shown on the Assessors Maps 227, Parcel 111. Michael?
Hi, yep, how are you? Good afternoon. I'm from M. White Arbor and Land Care. I am the Cole family's arborist, and we are asking for permission to maintain 2 20-foot wide vista corridors towards the Centerville River. From the back lower patio is the main vista point. It's actually an interesting situation where the vegetation was actually pepper bush. That was a mitigation planting from violation back in the late 90s. And there's a few volunteer, black oaks and white oaks throughout the area too that would be columns maintained. All work would obviously be done by hand, no equipment, debris removed all the way off site.
Is this a kind of a standard vista pruning request?
Sorry, come again?
Is this a standard vista pruning request?
Yes, the only thing that I do believe might be different is that we're asking to be able to maintain the lower vegetation at a 3 to 5 foot undulated height. I do believe that's different than a standard vista pruning request.
Okay. Darcy, do you have any comment on this?
No, that was my question as far as making sure we get this condition in that they're allowed to do a little bit beyond the normal vista pruning, because that is the one thing that's in the way. So I support this. I was around when we had the violation and things got planted, so I support this.
Okay, thanks. Question from Commissioner Luis.
And also, someone from the staff will be out there to meet with the arborist before any kind of cutting begins, right?
Yes, that goes into the special condition.
Right.
Any other questions from the committee?
I do,
Bill?
Tom.
Bill?
I made a site visit, and it really is just like a, if you will, a field of pepper bush that is in that corridor. And I thought you really almost don't need right now to trim it. It is in the 3 to 5 foot height. Although I do know that pepper bush will get 6, 7 feet. So is the idea basically to, in effect, maintain that pepper bush more or less at the height that it currently is? Because it's certainly not, it's not more than 5 feet tall right now.
It's right now, walking around riveting it, it was, up to my neck in certain areas, and I'm rather short. I'm only 5.5 feet. So it's, some areas it's definitely 5 foot and above starting. But yes, this is to get ahead of it growing into, the vista itself. There's a small backstory on the property. I don't want to get lost in it, but basically that the buyer was misled that there was permission to maintain that. So when they bought that property, that was much lower than it is now. So it's growing up into the vista from that lower patio. So we're just trying to get ahead of this and make sure that we don't lose that sight line that lower patio has.
Yeah, I'm good with it. I mean, it doesn't need that much trimming, is all I guess I'm saying. I mean, you're 5.5 feet tall, and it's not over your head really. It's Anyway.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
None? Could I have a motion to approve this project as a negative determinations, allowing the undulating area to be 3 to 5 feet?
So moved.
Second,
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. Aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. We have one
Thank you.
NOI this afternoon is Susan P. Steckles, trustees, and Albert A. Holzman, the third trustee, proposed constructions of a pool and all associated premises at 149 Inwood Lane, Sanderville, as shown on the assessors maps 225 parcel 025. John?
Good afternoon, John O'Day from Sullivan Engineering Consulting. Also here with us in the meeting room with the applicant. And Mike Picard is from Sudbury Design, the landscape designers who've been helping work through these footprints. I'm going to bring up a plan for you. This property is just over an acre of land in Centerville, backs up to Nantucket Sound and the beach areas. There's an existing dwelling, dates to around 1915. The resources that we have are land under ocean, coastal beach. There is a coastal dune that extends landward from that beach. And then we have some areas of land subject to coastal storm flowage. The project as proposed is to construct a pool area. A portion of that is located within the 50 to 100 foot buffer to the coastal dune. We're about 81 feet at the closest point. We have more than and will maintain more than a 50-foot undisturbed buffer to the dune area. We have a work limit proposed, which was staked, which was a lot of fun. And we have a call for a dry well, pretty much, hopefully covered the standard things that the commission looks for on pool projects. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, John. Any question from the commissioner? No one? Let me try one more time. Any questions from the commissioner? Okay. Channel 18, any public comment on this?
Seeing none.
John, we don't have the DEP number. Is that correct?
Correct.
So we will need a continuance. Would the July 23rd be good for you? We will approve this project, but subject to the issue of the DEP number with a continuance date on the July 23rd.
Yes, that would work. I understand.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve this project as submitted, but with a continuance to July 23rd, waiting for the issuance of the DEP number?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. Aye. Unanimous.
Thank you very much.
John. We have two continuances. The first one is Housing Assistance Corporations of Cape Cod. Constructions of a 3-story, 50-unit affordable housing residential building within the 200-foot riverfront area at 268 Stevens Street, Hyannis, as shown on the assessors maps 308 parcel 017. This is a continuance from June 25th and July 9th, and we are waiting for the DEP number, and the quorum is everyone. And we have received the DEP number as SE3-6205. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing and authorize the staff to issue the order of condition?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. The second continuance is Arthur Gutierrez. Landscape improvement to an existing pool area, including construction of a spa, outdoor kitchens, seating area, and mitigation planting at 180 Pencusset Cove Circle, contoured as shown on the census map 005 parcel 071. And this is a continuance from July the 9th, and just waiting for the DEP number, and the quorum is everyone. And the DEP number is SE3-6204. Could I have a motion to close the public hearing and authorize the staff to issue the order of conditions?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney, aye. That's unanimous.
Thank you. And we have one easy certificate of compliance. Edmund S. Dowse Jr. and Elizabeth Bryant, SE3-6156. Could I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Roll call.
Foster,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Sampu,
Aye.
and Tangney. It's unanimous.
Thank you. Our next meeting is July 23rd, and we don't, at this point, we don't have any application for that, but we only have 2 continuance, so it will be a short meeting. Could I have a motion? Could I have a motion to adjourn? But
So moved.
Second.
roll call.
Adjournment.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tangney, aye. Sampu,
Aye.
Lee,
Aye.
Hearn,
Aye.
Foster,
Aye.
adjourned at 3:46.